Let's be real. Every student starts college with this big dream, right? You want to build an amazing career, make your family proud. But a dream without a plan? It's just a wish. What you really need is a roadmap. So today, let's dive into the SNS Road Map to placement excellence and see how they turn students from learners into leaders.
You know, the minute you step onto campus, your head is just buzzing with questions like these. What should I become? Where do I even begin? And that little voice in the back of your head asking, am I good enough? It's exciting for sure, but there's also a ton of uncertainty. We've all been there. It's the starting line for pretty much everyone.
And you know what? The folks at SNS, they get it. The placement coordinator says it right here. They've seen this phase, the chaos, the confusion, the fear. It's not about ignoring it. It's about recognizing that this messy, uncertain feeling is actually the perfect starting point for an incredible transformation.
So, the big question is, how do you get from that feeling of fear to a place of real, solid confidence? Well, that's the first leg of the journey. And it all starts with learning to think in a totally new way. This is the first tool they drop into your toolkit. It's called design thinking. Instead of just getting stuck in your own head, it forces you to look outward. You start to think like an employer to really understand what the industry is looking for. The whole question shifts from, am I good enough, to, hey, how can I solve a problem for them? That's a game changer. And that new way of thinking leads to this next, absolutely core idea. Look, grades are important, we all know that. But what they really emphasize is that lasting career success is built on something way, way deeper. It's all about your mindset. At SNS, they build that mindset with something called the 3P culture. First up, purpose. You've got to find your why, what really drives you. Then there's process, trusting the system, following the structured path. And finally, people, connecting with the mentors and, just as importantly, the other students who are on this journey right alongside you.
And they put that into practice with the 3C framework. Now pay close attention to the order here, because this is crucial. It starts with attitude and logic. Why? Because when you have the right mindset and you can think with absolute clarity, your technical skills, your technique become 10 times more powerful. They're not just a line on a resume, they're your superpower in an interview.
All right, so you've built that strong foundation, that solid mindset. What's next? Well, now the journey expands. The next stage is all about creating a balanced, disciplined approach to your own development, and it's built on 5 key pillars. These pillars are all about creating a professional who is seriously well-rounded. You've got continuous learning, technical upskilling, finding ways to innovate, networking, all the things you'd expect. But then there's that last one, maintain spine. What on earth is that about?
Spine is this really cool idea that a strong career needs a strong person behind it. It's a focus on your well-being, your health, your hobbies, getting involved in sports. The thinking is simple, but it's so profound. You can't build a skyscraper on a shaky foundation. A strong mind and a successful career, well, they need a strong, balanced, and healthy person to make it all happen.
Okay, so you've done the internal work, you've built the foundation. Now it's time to connect the dots. The next vital step is closing that gap between what you're learning in a classroom and what's actually happening out there in the industry. And this is where innovation really takes center stage.
They use what's called the Innovation 7+7 framework, which basically gets you plugged into 15 different industry clubs. This isn't about theory anymore. This is where you get your hands dirty. You start applying what you've learned, solving actual problems, and seeing how different industries really tick from the inside.
And you bet that commitment to innovation is pointed right at the future. We're talking about mastering Gen I skills, but not by reading a textbook. No way. This is about doing. Students are building real projects, they're competing in hackathons, and they're following custom AI roadmaps. They don't just learn about AI, they're actively applying it.
So all this growth, this learning, this innovation, it sounds great, right? But how do you actually know it's happening? How do you take that feeling of potential and turn it into hard, measurable proof that employers are going to notice? Well, they do it with SMART OKRs. That stands for Objectives and Key Results. Think of it like leveling up in a video game, but for your career. It gamifies the whole process. You have these clear, measurable goals so you can literally track your progress, not just in coding, but in those critical skills like leadership, teamwork, and your overall mindset. And here's the payoff for all that tracked progress. You don't just walk out with a degree. You become a certified talent in your field, whether it's IT, business, engineering, or health. You earn credentials that are recognized by the industry, something that speaks way louder than just another resume in the pile.
But let's be clear, earning that certification isn't just about acing exams. The whole journey is built on this huge mental shift. It's about really truly embracing a growth mindset. It's about understanding that failure isn't the end. It's just feedback. It's a chance to learn, get better, and come back stronger. That resilience, that becomes your defining trait.
And all of this, it brings us to the ultimate goal. See, it's not just about getting a job offer. It's about connecting all this amazing individual growth to a vision that is so much bigger, so much more inspiring.
Take a look at this number, 1,000. It's not a salary, it's not a placement percentage, it's something else entirely. What do you think it could be?
And there it is. The goal isn't just to fill jobs, it's to create them. The vision is to empower students to be the founders, the creators, the innovators who will launch 1,000 AI startups in the next 10 years. This is where learning fully transforms into creation. The classroom literally becomes a launchpad for the future.
So when you step back and look at the whole picture, this is the journey. The SNS Road Map is designed to take that initial chaos and turn it into creation, to take raw, untapped potential and shape it into certified, proven performance, and ultimately to transform students who are learners into the leaders of tomorrow.
And in the end, it all comes back to this one simple, powerful mission. The goal isn't just to place you in a job. It's to light up the path ahead, to guide you on your journey, and then to just stand back and watch every single student rise. Because when they succeed, we all do.